to another presser with Coach Johnson, Coach Hoffmann for the University of Minnesota Morris Cougars football program, coming off a tough day down in Iowa Wesleyan. Talk a little bit about your offensive performance down there, Coach Johnson, and Caleb Kemp, 54 yards on 19 carries, not a bad average for him.
Yep. Kemp was okay. We did a couple. We were okay at a couple positions overall, though. I mean, it was a bad offensive week for us. I'd like to kind of spin it and take the positive out of it, but the reality is we really didn't play very well. And I'm not sure exactly what it was. We controlled the ball in terms of time of possession. We ran a lot of plays, but in terms of ticking off for any kind of consistency, it just really wasn't there for us. We strung together a couple drives, but not enough to put ourselves in a better position to win that game. And then our Achilles heel continues to be the fact that we turn the ball over, far too often. We ended up with 4 of them on Saturday, and that's following, having the same or more the week before. So we've continued to stress on that in practice here, Coach, that we have to take care of the ball. Take care of the ball, take care of your families, been kind of the mantra. I hope that continues to click with the kids or starts to click with the kids, because we have the potential to be a good offensive team. But if you're going to give the ball to the other team and put your defense or special teams in bad positions, it's going to come back to hurt you. And it hurt us on Saturday. I know you're going to talk about the defense, but the defense played well enough to win that ball game on Saturday, and unfortunately we just didn't, on some of the other facets of the game. So the reality is we've addressed it from an offensive team. We've been pretty forthcoming about what the expectations are, and hopefully our guys see that this week, and you see a great performance, here in a couple days versus Northwestern.
Coach Hoffmann, a bunch of turnovers on Saturday, some big stops on your side of the field. Talk a little bit about the defensive performance you had and some of the guys that led the way.
I was certainly pleased with the takeaways. Obviously, that's anytime you can get that many, that's a big deal. The parts I talked to him on Monday about was, I was a little bit disappointed in just our run defense again. A team that I felt like we certainly could have dominated much more. We didn't, and big plays continue to be our Achilles heel. We had a couple of those as well. A deflected football that they catch for a touchdown. We get guys in position, make plays, and then we miss some tackles here and there. So those just some little things that we got to get cleaned up. And then the other piece of it was, really revolved around the red zone defense. We got to get us down the red zone. They were 2 for 2. We needed one stop down there, and that would have been, obviously the difference. So those are all things that we kind of have. But certainly from a standpoint of 3rd down, 4th down, things like that, guys did really well. We were above 80% success rate there, so that's awesome. And then obviously, like I said, the takeaways is a big deal too. But guys that had really good days. Drew Shipley had another good afternoon. Certainly up front, defensive line wise, Marcos Luna had a good day. Nate Galen had a good day. I think our entire front, even Tony Hill. I think up front we did a great job, in both from the standpoint of getting the run fits, and certainly as well as just in the pass rush. But at linebacker we certainly could have been a lot more crisper, and that would have helped. And then obviously made some tackles on the perimeter.
Well, coming into this week against Northwestern, 6 o'clock kick. In senior day, talk a little bit about the seniors, what they've meant to this program, and kind of what we expect out of them on Saturday.
Yep. It's a smaller number in terms of the senior class because this was during a transition year, this group that's been with us. But in terms of the character and the quality of gentlemen that they are, we couldn't be more pleased from a staff perspective and from a leadership perspective too. I should have referenced on Saturday, we lost Taylor Holloman to an ACL injury, and from an offensive perspective, obviously that hurts us a lot too, just because Tay's kind of been that linchpin for us all year that's really been a very consistent performer. He had 16 catches in the 2 weeks prior to it and then didn't have any because it was literally in the first quarter that his knee goes. And that's the thing that's so crazy about football and sports in general is it can just be in a blink of an eye, it can go away from you, So we're going to honor Taylor. We're going to honor Austin Baca, who again has been a good player for us and has been willing to help us on both sides of the ball this year. We're going to honor Dominic Gacion, who's new to our program but has come in and really fought his butt off. Brandon Barras is, an offensive lineman for us who was with us initially and then went away for a couple of years and then came back. And then lastly, Mitch Fisher, who's obviously a senior captain for us as well too and has been a tremendous player for 4 years. So, that's the extent of our senior class. It's small in numbers, but in terms of their impact on the program and their value and their leadership and things that they provided for the vast majority of our team, which is underclassmen, it's just been great. So one chance to give them a little bit of kudos in front of their home crowd, and then go on with it from there.
I think those 5 gentlemen that you mentioned, 2 of those guys, well, 3 of them actually, Holloman, Fish, and even Barras, they've been here through the long haul. I mean, they've been here through the thick and thin. They were a class that had 3 head coaches, so these are guys that could have packed it in a long time ago or left or whatever, but they didn't. These are guys that epitomize Cougar football and the types of players that we're looking for, guys that are committed to the program regardless of the circumstance.
Going into the game Saturday, playing Northwestern defensively, the top scoring defense in the conference. They have one of the top tacklers in Daniel Stratton. Talk a little bit of how you block him and how we get a little better on third down.
Yep. All of their linebackers, are great tackle guys. Stratton's good. They've got kind of a flex overhang guy. Number 7, Gideon, who is a really good ball player for him too, creates a lot of havoc. Our message to the guys has been the same thing as it's pretty much been, is we've got to get on track, we've got to stay on track. They play a lot of a 3-man front, a lot, so it gives us angles from a guard position to get up to a linebacker level, but you've got to be athletic enough to do that, So we've made a conscious effort with it. I like our run game going into this week in terms of certain things versus certain fronts we've really been conscious of. Worked a lot with Justin and the quarterbacks in terms of reading their coverage. They play a lot of coverage on the back end. I mean, they varied up between 2 and 3 in cloud, and they'll play a little bit of 6 in situations, and they mix some things up there that can pose us some problems. But make no mistake, they're a stout defense. And the thing they do, and I think a coach will probably reference it, is their defense mimics what their offense does in a lot of ways, in terms of they're not a gambling, explosive type defense. They'll give up a lot of the underneath stuff, saying, hey, this is how you're going to beat us, drive the ball on us. And their offense kind of grinds away too, and then takes a poke when they need to take a poke. So, we want, and in some ways it's similar to what we did versus McMurray. McMurray gave up a lot of the underneath stuff once again, but a very strong defense, and we were able to take advantage of that in some ways. That was our best offensive performance in terms of yardage was Mac here a couple weeks ago. So I think we are in a good position to do the same thing. Ultimately, we need to take care of the ball. But again, if they're going to give us things in the pass game and the run game, we want to expose those things as much as possible.
And Coach Hoffmann, their offense, talk a little bit about what we'll see from them and how we try to diagnose that and shut that down.
Well, as far as statistics are concerned, I know offensively they haven't been putting up real large numbers points-wise, but I'll tell you what, this team is starting to find a rhythm offensively. They struggled early in the year, certainly trying to put points on the board, but these past 2 weeks now, I mean, they've put up some pretty good numbers, certainly on the scoreboard as well, and there's a team physically that really wants to run the football and really wants to make it a physical contest. And whether that's with 21 personnel with fullbacks, whether that's with extra tackles and offensive linemen on the field, they're going to establish a run. And they're going to, again, really force you to have to be great in the box, really force you to have to defend every gap. When they add fullbacks and guards and whatnot, unbalanced looks, they're really just trying to, again, add more gaps. And so defensively, we're certainly very conscious of that, and we want to make sure that we're very good within those, within our responsibilities. And then, like Coach Johnson referenced, then from a pass game standpoint, very simple, but they're going to take a shot. They have a really good receiver, quarterback. We'll try to get them the rock, and they'll max protect it. And then they'll get 1 or 2 guys out and route. So I mean, it's a throwback style type of offense. It's one that we don't really see much anymore in college football, but it's pretty potent. It's pretty potent. It's pretty powerful, and these guys will certainly have our hands full from that standpoint.
Well, looking forward to seeing what we can do one more time at Big Cat, one more time for the seniors. So 6 o'clock start on Saturday. Hopefully we'll see everybody out at Big Cat to enjoy the last home game of the year.